Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us again. This is the TheCatchupdbn. My name is Andile. This is actually going to be an amazing show. We've got our second female guest that I'm absolutely excited about, who goes by the name of Fanele Ntuli. You might know her from Durban Jen as ThandekileZondo, but now you also might know her from her role in Uzalo as Nomaswazi. So without any further ado, welcome Fanele Ntuli.
Round of applause. Okay.
Best known for her role on Durban Jen as ThandekileZondo, but now recently as Mandisa on Uzalo.
It is Nomaswazi, man.
Nomaswazi?
Yes.
Okay, Nomaswazi on Uzalo. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So for those who don't really know you, please do like a brief introduction of yourself.
My name is Fanele Ntuli ngowaseChibini, Ozwathini kwaMabhengu, the child of Uzalo noSibongiseni. I grew up actually in town. I went to Clarence Primary School. Then I went to Durban Girls High for what is this, high school? Oh, it feels like a decade ago. I have to remember what I used to do. Yes. I'm a Durbanite. Have stayed in Joburg a bit. But yeah, man, I'm in the arts. The arts chose me eventually after a journey of self-discovery, because I thought I was going to be an accountant and stuff. And worked at the bank, and then it was like, no, go and pretend to be someone else. And I'm like, sure.
And you enjoyed it. And
it has its days. Yes. It has its days, but for the most part, yes.
Oh, that's good.
For the most part, yes.
So we're going to start off a bit light.
Sure.
I went through your Instagram.
Of course you did.
Did a bit of stalking. And I saw that you're going through a bit of a health journey, right? And you're someone that seems to be taking your physical health very, very seriously, right? And I wanted to know, because I just got very curious, why did you choose, or have you chosen this physical journey when you're in an industry that embraces all shapes and sizes?
It's not even about necessarily the industry. It's about loving the body and skin I'm in all day, every day. Like, not to say if I'm like 10 kgs heavier next week, I'm not gonna love it, but the mental benefit of it. After a workout, trust me, I hate every session. Every session, I'm just like, do I have to? Yes. Do I really have to? But like, you never regret a workout. And once I have shown up for myself physically, mentally, I'm like, oh my goodness, what else can we do? So it gets the ball rolling for every other activity. It's easy for me then to go home and maybe do my scripts, go home and cook a healthier meal, because I know if I don't eat healthy, tomorrow at gym, I'm probably going to want to vomit what I ate. So it helps me to be conscious of my input so that my output also reflects a more happier and lighter and just more present person. Because like, I think this is our vessel. You know, and besides the fact that my crop top, it's just nice to feel comfortable in your skin. You know, it feels nice, Guti. You can show up for yourself even on the days that are uncomfortable. If I'm able to do something like I like it when I dread it every morning, then every other challenge or whatever I face in life, generally, I will approach it with the same mindset. I'm going to make sure I don't like gymming, but I'm going to look cute.
Yes.
So I'm going to invest in how I look so that, if my set is looking cute, I mean, what's a set? What's a squat? What's a lunge? You know, so it's a ripple effect of my life. It's just helps me to be more alert and present and exercise choice in what I engage in.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you just mentioned what's back when I'm crop top. So do you have a choice at how far your wardrobe goes?
I mean, they can ask you what your comfort level is, but at the same time, let's just say character yakuti slay queen, short things, whatever. You can't be like no energy, just you know. You have to remember, Uguti, the character was created and you just the vessel that needs to portray the character. Someone decides your makeup, someone decides your hair, what you wear. You embody what they've created. So they can be nice and say, oh, today would you like a pink eyeshadow or whatever, but it's not your job. Your job description is to act. Yeah. And what they put you in is what you showcase yourself in. Now, what helps with the fitness thing, because we usually like very self-conscious. I mean, the camera will zoom in and whatever. So why don't you just set yourself up for success? Which, regardless of what you guys put me in, it's not gonna hinder my performance. Because if now I haven't been working out and then the crop top, yeah, put you know what I mean? Then even my performance is gonna be like, yeah, it hasn't right. If I've been putting in the work, it's just the mindset of staying ready.
That's good.
It's just the mindset of staying ready. Yeah. You know, so I let, not that I even have a choice, but wardrobe and makeup do as they please because I do the work beforehand. Like they're gonna put me in lingerie. I'm not gonna be like, hey, Yazzie, set yourself up for success so that you don't hinder your performance when the cameras come. Because the crew doesn't care. Crew's not gonna be like, oh shame, she's feeling a bit self-conscious. Yes. 12 hours. Yeah. I'm hired to perform. I'm not hired to, I don't want to look pretty when I cry. I want to be truthful to what the character needs me to do. And that, my thingy, like everything. You know?
So I've heard of rumors of many actresses and actors, you know, losing maybe certain roles because of maybe they gained maybe 2 kgs or 3 kgs, and there was this thing of them being told, no, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight.
I know that's the thing. Abroad, I'd say. I don't necessarily know like South Africa, but there is that thing of Uti wardrobe. Let's say, especially if you cast, they're gonna buy. They're obviously not going to buy a size 32, 34, 35, 36 to accommodate any weight, but maintain it. Yeah. Because obviously if you're moving from a 32 to a 36 or a 36 to a 32, because it can go vice versa, now they have to alter, now they have to. So it's that thing of which you just don't cost production money unnecessarily. Oh, okay. You know, because now some pajama blue so yeah,
and it doesn't look nice, and you do train.
You train unnecessarily. So I think it's a thing of I love that working out is now a lifestyle, and everybody's like trying to take care of themselves. But for me, it's literally that thing of staying ready. Which, regardless if you put me in like a romper or you put me in whatever, I will look good or I'll feel good because I know what I put in the work for that. Yeah. You know.
That's good. So let's go a bit back.
Sure.
So you're someone that was caught or still is caught in between 2 different worlds growing up, right? You mentioned ukuthi ekhaya iseChibini Mzwathini, right? And then some of your life you've spent, or a bulk of your life you've spent like eThekwini with umamkhulu.
Yes, literally uhlala manje overport phezulu.
Yes. So both of those worlds at some point contradict one another. Yeah. From spirituality, from certain ways of life. Basically, yabo. Most of the time, abantu emakhaya abayithanda izinto zaseThekwini.
We blow for wine.
Yes. Vice versa. Yeah. Abantu baseThekwini, they look down on abantu abasemakhaya due to maybe the way that they speak or some of their beliefs, right? So how were you able to maintain yourself, you know, in between both of those worlds? Because both of those worlds want 2 different Faneles.
You know what? I feel like I've gotten to a place where I don't necessarily think it's 2 different Faneles. It's holistically Fanele, and then I have different avenues. For example, like ekhaya khona iSonto, amaZion. So mangi ekhaya kuzwa khona iSonto like iPhasika. I'm not gonna go and wear jean, and not to say ngoba ngila eThekwini manje mangqo. Sorry, sound. I'm being a hypocrite. Yeah. I'm understanding the setting, yasekhaya. It needs me to be a bit more modest. So it's in respect of the setting. different setting, like Tegwini, I can rock my jeans, but I still represent Ikaya, lasekhaya. You know, like what is my experience? How are people experiencing me? So it's not even, I used to put on a facade, it was okay, but now I'm like, actually, church is not bound by where I am. It's how people feel around me and experience me that I more prioritize than the setting off. Because Savata as well, like I can't carry it around, but there's this notion of no, like whether I am draped in whatever, I need to stay true to the core of who Imfundisi Zasekhaya is. And some of them I'm just like, hey, it's a thing of what is sifting through so that I can maintain truth.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I've got nails. This is for work. I can't now go and now I need to get to a point where, okay, why is this here? Okay, it's work. And even if it wasn't work, but I like having nails, it doesn't take away from the relationship or respect of the church. You know, so it's that thing of understanding the environment, reading the room, and acting accordingly, but not in a pretentious way. You know. Wow.
Yes, guys, this is MX. I'm behind the mic with the crew.
Thought you were gonna keep quiet.
No, I corrected myself. I was politically incorrect. So please, I said at some point we had a discussion and I had a slip up.
But also I had to unlearn that. It's that thing of which you have the environment, or whatever, so it's in my farm, and then you just like, oh, it's that thing of picking and choosing now. It's okay, now that I know better, it's emakhaya.
Yeah.
You know, because I resonate more now emakhaya than I used to. Cause I was just like, oh my gosh, come on. So watch him for I'm just like, now it's a luxury. Like when you've been in the city the whole year, you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to walk barefoot.
Yes.
You know, but then you also think of it's that indoctrination, the city life is much better and whatever. But organic and it's literally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also that wasn't always me.
Yes.
That wasn't always me. You know, but you actually see the value with, oh snap, no, the basics.
Yeah.
No, and that's one thing that I absolutely loved. Checking out your profile, yako.
Stalking. Oh yes. And I think one person that I used to, if I was to be honest, I'd be like, there's no picture of me in Givatile because I'm just like, oh, it's not aesthetically pleasing, you know, but. One person that has made me fall in love with how we grew up is my brother. My brother, he's into photography, architectural stuff, but he's able to integrate the modern and the old and see how I see Pete, and you need to honor, because he's in Cape Town, you need to honor your family wherever you are, regardless of the setting. You know, and he debuted, I don't know where was it, somewhere Peshaya though. He eventually, he takes photos with his phone, but then he eventually was able to go and document certain pictures of his in the gallery Peshaya and made payments. And the pictures, he usenkonzweni wishuthela abantu begqoka uNazaretha ushuthi siphambana ushuthi, and you're just like, this is me. I don't need to alter. I don't need to, you know, I mean, you can obviously change life and mold it to whatever you want to be going forward, but I can't undo my childhood. That's who I am. And maybe if there is some sort of trauma, as you would have seen on Journey to Self with the things I unpack, it's still my past. I can't change my past. I can definitely shift my future, but I can't say it was all bad.
Yeah.
I can't say it was all bad. And even I need to embrace the good. And also the bad will actually make me value the good more.
Yeah.
And so it's perspective and just understanding, hey boyazi, emakhaya are dope.
Ubhuti wakho Das.
Dust. Yes, uminenhle.
No idea, guys. You guys must check out umsebenzi wakhe.
Oh, he's dope, right?
Yeah.
He's super dope.
Ngisho namagama that he uses, but anyway, check him out, guys.
No, he does, and it's so great that you have someone like him that knows how to bring you back
For sure.
to the ground.
For sure.
You know, and then you were speaking about spirituality, which I saw plays a big role in who you are. There was you documented a journey. You were walking to a mountain.
Yeah.
What a refreshing journey to watch you walking. Right. So you spoke about how in the mountain that's where you communicate with God. Right? That's where you ask.
Yeah.
That's where you
listen.
You listen, you question things, you meditate, and then you also journal. So how did you find or what influenced you having or doing or taking rather that journey?
In this world you have different what's the word? There are different things that you're exposed to. Like you can go to church, you can attend youth on Fridays, you can uyithandazela endlini or whatever, but you need to find I'm a routine person, so I kept trying things like I'm just like kneeling, my knees hurt, doesn't work. You know, I had to come to a place where I had to realize that God speaks to me in a way that only I will get it. He's an individualistic God, right? Like maybe kneeling and when I'm praying for an hour works for you. I've found that as long as my intent is good, I can do a 5-minute prayer and I'll be good. You know, I love nature.
Yeah.
I love nature, so that's one thing that you can only say God did. Like I was even at the beach last week and I'm just like, how do the waves know where to stop? You know, they don't question, they just are. And I learn a lot from nature, so I was like, if I can gravitate to that, then clearly I can experience God anywhere. But in his purest form, I do experience him in nature, cool, because nature doesn't fight to be. Like if you're called to be an apple tree, you're an apple tree. You know, you're not gonna see an orange tomorrow and be like, oh, maybe I should.
Yeah.
And I think that's the core of what God is. Now I'm gonna seek to be Andile. I do Andile. Is Andile. I can't envy who you are, but I can draw inspiration. But also when you're in the garden, you see the rosemary, you see the thyme, you see the parsley. They're all gonna come into the pot and make some magic. But now I can't want to imitate, you know. So I felt like even getting to a point where I started journaling, going to the mountain, I then started making the journey personal because I left the church. I had to leave the church to actually just experience God for who he is to me. Because all I used to reference was, and I'm just like, girl, if you're gonna go in media, they're not gonna be asking for your mom's opinion.
That's true.
They're gonna be asking for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, God, if you're sure you're gonna place me here, then let's figure out what I'm gonna say. I can't be quoting Uma. Uma has her own path, and she has done her best to train me up to be whoever she ideally thought I would. But at the end of the day, I have a predestined path, and I need to be truthful to it. So something was just not making sense in my life, and I was like, okay, I've been good. Monday, I think it was YCT at DCC. Wednesday, drama meeting. Friday is youth. I think Thursday, where you study the word in people's houses. I forgot what it's called.
Yes.
What cell?
Home cell, yes.
Home cell.
Sundays in Sesonto for normal church service. But I just didn't know God. So imagine 6 days of the week and you just like, So I had to break things down and figure it out for myself. And it just so happens that I found it in taking a walk in nature, taking a walk by the beach. When I jog, that's my time to pray. That's my time to flush out anything that might have gone wrong. It's time to let go. It's time to sieve out the interactions with people, you know, like when you've had a conversation and you're just like, oh, that sparked something. I write it down. That I've found many ways to pray and not make it scripted and truthful.
Oh, that's good.
I made it truthful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I understand why you picked that specific spot, because it's not too far from where you were baptized. Got this connection that's so unique to you and your personal spiritual journey to that mountain.
Didn't realize that, so you just said it. But yes, you're right. And then up the mountain is where ngikonzo yaphasika kunyukela edrobheni for people to make offerings. So yeah. It wasn't like intentional. I was just sort of gravitate, but I like life eventually.
It works that way.
Yeah.
It works.
If you're open to it.
Yes.
But open to what works for Fanele, what works for Andile.
Yeah, I'm glad that you found a source or something that worked for you, and that's only what I hope for wonke umuntu, especially our youth. You seem to be so lost in the source of things, and I think it would be so important for more people like you that they look up to speak on Ijeni Enjeya, and more people to watch your journey on your YouTube. You speak about...
Freaking broke down in a video. I'm just like, should I cut?
You speak about a plan B.
Yeah.
You spoke about a plan B, and that touched me so much, because as much as you were trying to really discover a plan B, but there was never a plan B for you.
Yeah.
This is...
And I think, not that I even think, I know, if you're on this earth, there's a plan A. There's a plan A for you, and then experiences come. Like, let's say your plan A when you born into this world, you're 100%. And then as a child, as you're growing up, you experience some traumas. Someone shouts at you while you're trying to explore and run. Disappointments come, and then that battery just keeps getting lower. You know, by your teens, you probably have acne all over your face, and then it dips your confidence, and then, you know, so life happens, and then the volume of who you are decreases with the voices that we listen to, with the experiences that life happens. Maybe you get a child before you were meant to get a child. There are certain things that you thought you never would do, and you ended up doing, and then you're struggling to forgive yourself. Then you're like, maybe I just deserve the bare minimum. Never.
Yeah.
And the thoughts of plan B, C, D come because you're the turbulence that life throws you, and sometimes even the way you perceive yourself. Ukuthi ubani ngewen. Ubani. Because I've had those conversations a lot with myself, especially when your mom calls you up and she's like, yeah, and that's me. But I always used to debate this because, maybe I put God into too much, but he's all I know. But now it's even worse because now it's a personal thing. But with how my journey has come about, what is time? There are things that I thought I would achieve, and it would take me 5 years. And then God was just like, during a pandemic, you thought you were going to sit at home? No, you're going to get a job. That's when I got DG. When the world was in a frenzy, I got DG. And then straight after DG, I through just working with directors, they were like, I got this, let's do this. Your gift opened up room. And then all the things that you should be such a hard no, you don't even realize it's a yes now. You're just going with the motion because you've served your time. And you spoke about the youth being lost and whatever. Loss is necessary. The grays are necessary so that when you're given a platform to talk, you're speaking from truth. You're not speaking from, I studied this and then for sure the stats say. We need your truth.
Yeah. And you're giving it to us. And you gave it to
us. And
self. And journey to self.
It's weird for me for people to be like, he has a weird role model. Like, please.
That's a responsibility.
Yes, it's a responsibility, and I guess it comes by default, but I'm just like, don't wish to be me. Take moments of, oh my gosh, she has paved a way in figuring herself out. Rather do that. Let be encouraged to figure yourself out for yourself so that you can navigate your plan A.
Yeah.
Because then what has been graced upon me might not necessarily be graced upon you. There are people who go for an audition and get the role same day. There are people who are going to get plenty no's. There's someone who's never going to get a yes because they're so fixated on Fanele, we actor and whatever, but maybe you were supposed to be an accountant. So draw inspiration from people that you look up to, but understand that you have your own path. Everything is a calling.
But Fanele, if I'm 19, I follow you, and it's like, yo, week by week, you killing it,
yeah.
I'm talking to the ignorance of youth.
Yeah.
All young. Like, how do you convince them, as you're saying, because we're slightly older now, so it's just it's a journey, also figure if it's for you, it's for you. But how do you speak to those people who are looking up to you and actually make them be okay with where they are and that they have to they have to experience what they have to experience? How do you relay that? Like, yo, I want to make it as well, or, you know?
Yeah.
I think I can say life rewards effort. And life is trial and error, you know. I've had moments where I'm like, oh, I'm so talented, I'm so and then literally last November when I got the Nomaswazi gig, it was like, it came at the right time where the imposter syndrome was probably on like 10%, where it was like, I'm acting with baby, and we're on the same table, and I'm deserving of that table. But there were moments where I've had roles where I'm like, the minute the AD comes, I'm just like, yeah, so gosh.
Oh.
But when I look back, I had to work on myself. I had to go to audition, see probably a famous person in the audition and already feel like, but now I can step into an audition and someone looks at me and be like, KephiLaZondo.
Yes.
But be present. That's what I can say. Be present in the navigating of life. If we're honest, we're all just winging it. We literally all just winging it. And I think after COVID, we should really afford ourselves a lot of grace. We were planning on level 5. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And that can happen next year. So, like, I formula, but you can trial and error and try and navigate a system that speaks true to you. Because I'm a circumstances that are fine. There are some people who have a child, have responsibility, and they're sitting there just like, how would I even start navigating this industry? But look at Taraji. Wow, she always speaks about how she took her child and just navigated. Was it LA, I think?
Yes.
Your dreams never expire. They never expire. Maybe just fight to not decrease the plan A, regardless of the circumstances. And sometimes, I worked at a bank. I did promotions. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. I wanted to be Ukarabo Maroka, who is in communications, and I thought I wanted to be in marketing. But what life was saying, you need to be an actress. That's how you're gonna be Karabo. But you need to give time. You need to give time and learn to laugh at yourself more. Also flop, and you're still gonna have fear. There are scenes like the coffin scene that I recently did, Uzalo. You get there, you just met the character 2 weeks ago, or actually a week ago, and then they're like, oh yeah, your mom's gonna put in your coffin, and then you're just gonna go on the stream. I'm like, sorry, what happened? Why am I going to coffin? Do you not think, I'm going to be like, oh my God, how do I? And my focus was, because I only found out that I'm actually replacing someone literally when I got the script, because I didn't know, you know. So my focus was not even that. My focus was, how do I do justice to my performance? Yes. My focus. That's why sometimes this thing of fame and whatever, in my prayers I didn't think of that. I was like, just give me an opportunity to act, let me, you know. And then the byproduct was that, oh, people are gonna see you on screen. Yeah. I literally treat my work as a job. It's not my 9 to 5 because we are 12 hours. But it's a job. So
let's just wrap up your spiritual journey, which I think is one of the most important parts of all. Yes, one of the most important parts of your journey.
Yeah.
Right. I heard Oguti, or I was told that Umawako ushaya isigubhu.
Who told you this?
That
Who told you?
That Umawako ushaya isigubhu esontweni. You also mentioned. You also you mentioned Uguti Nizayo emakhaya, as well as now your sister has taken over.
Sometimes. Depends on the mood.
Yes. Yeah. So that speaks to your mother's calling within the church and spiritual, and in her spiritual journey, right? So with you and we see a lot of entertainers right in front of our faces going into Intwaso and things like that. Have you discovered that part of yourself? That spiritual part of yourself?
You touched on spirituality, and I guess that's God. Not that I guess, I'll branch it into God. In terms of, have I figured out if I have a gift? I think we all are gifted. Some people are gifted for their pulpit to be at a church and minister. Some people are gifted and have a pulpit of being a doctor. Some people are gifted in being an accountant. Some people heal through music. It's about finding your pulpit. That's how I perceive it. So in terms of spirituality, it's not even a thing of it being a journey. We are spirit. It's just what it is. You can't question it. We are that. Now you need to know the spirit that I'm embodying and whatnot. What is it here to do? If I'm a singer, am I singing to heal people? If I'm a doctor, am I... Because at the end of the day, the point where even the doctors are like, you have to rely on your prayers now, or whoever you trust that's going to be able to heal, because there's only so much the hands of a doctor can do. So my gifts are delegated in the tummy when I'm still in my mother's womb, and then it's my task to make sure that I die empty of all those gifts. And the only way I can die empty is if I'm connected to the source. So now it's spirituality, now it's manifestation, now it's at the core of anything I see, pet. And my pursuit in being present in my life is being present with the one that came and made me, so that I can fully be what I was meant to be. In terms of amadlozi, this was a huge thing for me, because I grew up being told amadlozi matimoni. I was told amadimoni, but then at the same time, they are able to acknowledge generational curses, but they don't want to acknowledge the generation. I wouldn't be here if my mom wasn't here, if my gran wasn't here, if my gran's mom wasn't here. Once again, I can't argue spirituality. I'm a spirit. Hence, umoya leaves the body. I can't debate amadlozi. I am because they were.
That's right.
Nobody planted a seed and then Fanele Ntuli. I was in my mom was in her mom. Hence Ntuli. Peace. I had a lot of conversations with myself, and I'm just like, how do I make it sound, let it make sense to me? Like, why am I making what is there sense? It's there. You don't find a tree fighting to be a tree. It's a tree. Ngusompisi, because my mother and my father came together, and they are there because of who was there before them. Indalo nje.
Shukuthi you are more logically than iqawa.
Huh?
Shukuthi you are more logically than iqawa ngokukholelwa kwakho.
Mina, there's no in between really. There's no one taking more than the other, because I feel we all answer to God. You know, where the generational stuff comes in is that some people will not be granted the opportunity to fulfill what their calling was in life, and then it has to be passed on because it is the gift of the lineage. That's why you'll find that some people, Kubo, there's just doctors, Kubo, there's just teachers, because yonke imizi inesegelo.
Yeah.
Yonke imizi inesegelo. And in order for me to be umzayoni, khona umuntu wasungula ubuzayoni ekhaya. You know, so it's not me favoring ubudlozi, it's not me favoring God. At the end of the day, the core of everything is God. And then we are the branches, and the fruits that we bear are us fulfilling the purpose that we have in life.
Okay, so last year, if I'm not mistaken, mid-year, there was a video that trended of Ubabvusitanda, who was pleading for public assistance as he could no longer afford basics. So, which is quite unfortunate, especially someone who is a living legend in the industry. So I wanted to know from you, Uguti, how have you prepared yourself for if maybe one day you're not getting those calls anymore, and how will you be able to sustain basic needs?
I saw that video and I don't even think I finished it, because you're feeling, and you're thinking, how do you serve us? And like literally you were in our lounges for however many years Muzwenzi are played, and currently with whatever show he played in. So it's a bittersweet thing in our industry. With Vele, generally we don't have benefits. We don't have UIF, we don't have a servants package with Honga Retire. It's literally what you have exposure to, that's what will maintain you, and that it's up to you and how you maneuver your finances. But also I don't even think we have the knowledge of how to navigate saving, because I don't want to lie, the industry does have money, but also you need to be aware that you have a peak season, and if you do not maximize on that peak season, you're going to come back now, we're probably asking for assistance. Because also during COVID, you saw when things went standstill, a lot of articles were coming out of how artists are starving and so on and so forth. And sometimes you're not earning enough to save. That's another sad reality. Like, uzothola project ungayishuta for 3 months, but it's going to show TV for 6 months. So you got paid for 3 months, but the last 3 months there's no income, but you are. You know, no, it's all I can afford. You know, at the end of the day, it's a job that just so happens to be on South Africa's Monday to Friday, and you get exposed to what job we do. But it does not have the most glorious packages. But coming back to how I have navigated, I've opened up a few investments, trying to secure retirement, and I signed a will. Now, what was I want to say? For sure. But also, it's just, I think the biggest stress for me, hardly any of us can afford medical aid, because you don't even have such a stable job that can afford you the installments, the monthly installments to sustain you. You know, so you can get a lump sum, it doesn't, but the stability of a month to month, where people in corporate maybe have, so you know what's okay, 3K can go into. Sometimes your contract is for a year and your contract is done, and then insurance or medical aid is still going to want stuff. So while I have the grace to have what I have put out investments, We actually even have a Netcare thing where they cover artists with emergencies, like if you get into an accident and so on. It's a package that Stained Glass was able to curate. It's still gonna roll out later in the year, but it's those things which sometimes it also helps if your production company kind of assists. You know, but it's just sad. Chances are there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have that situation of seeking assistance. So if you have the time, invest in having like a financial planner who's going to assist you in how to maybe open up investments. You Stokfela, man.
Even me.
You know, Stokfela, because it's not even like saving for a rainy day. I like being comfortable, and I do not like money ruling my decisions in life, but I also need to be cautious. I can't be like obsessing overnight and wearing everything, and then long term. But just why swanky party? So I think the financial advice that I also get from home would say, if you don't afford cash, rather wait it out and wait until you accumulate the cash to buy it, you know. And also lend your pressure. I'm going to move out of home and come in your rent. It's also a contributing factor. Because you're comfortable at home, or maybe you're comfortable in a one bedroom, but now because the pressure of TV is saying, I need to be finding waterfalls and Joburg, I need to be finding Camps Bay. Now you find yourself maintaining a lifestyle. That's like first of all, because nobody asks you and say, please volunteer yourself and just get in debt. But you need to see the end game for yourself personally and have goals for yourself personally, and also manage. It's okay, even if I do like traveling, but ideally, how can I do it so that it doesn't eat at my pocket at a ridiculous rate? But man, July when you can. Everywhere you are buying, chances are wearing other outfits. So you need a new outfit, makeup artist, clothes.
But isn't it for networking purposes?
For sure. But also sometimes, for me, it's like, let my performance speak for me. So I network and go to like 6 dinners, that's 6 outfits, but my work ethic sucks. So I could dress up and network in those 6 spaces, but production companies are like, if you do not want your show to finish, yes, I can look pretty. So what I can control is my performance. What I can control is my work ethic. And that, for me, I rely fully with the doors that it... Because realistically, some of us are not as social as other people. Yeah. And also, I don't need to overexpose myself in the social... Because also that's where people end up getting go couch casting or whatever. You know, so manage what's true to you. Because you're going to overshare certain parts of you that you shouldn't, because now you're trying to appease the networking space. You just network with your craft, you know.
Because then the thing is, a lot of people, while you're also going to explain for those maybe who don't know what exactly couch casting is, all right? But then many people speak on the fact that talent is no longer enough, right? Because you're speaking that, you're saying that let my talent be something that umuntu I consider, yes, that considers my. But it seems like talent is no longer anything that I'm a director, according to abantu abahleli, consider anymore.
Yeah, but you remember, for sure there's some truth to it, but as I said about my talent, I also incorporated my work ethic.
Okay.
Nah? Because I can be talented, but so difficult to even get a hold of on the phone. I'm tolagal. You know what I mean? So my talent is an umbrella, and then I need to have a good work ethic. A crew, how do I relate to the crew? Because sometimes crew is the one that actually can make or break who ends up opening up more doors for you. Like, what is the human experience of people before the action, before, you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you can be talented and have the worst work ethic and the worst attitude as well. So it encompasses you taking what you do seriously, and obviously the networking has its role to play. So go out to those events, but don't overdo izinto to a point where now you don't even know what you stand for. You know?
Sure. Let us go back to couch casting.
Couch casting. So couch casting basically is, for example, let's say a producer or whatever says, I've got a show coming up, A, B, and C, and if you want me to put you in, you gotta put out, you know? So the what is that face?
We don't know. What do you mean?
Really? How old are you? It's okay. Sexual favors, basically. So sometimes, I mean, some people can read between the lines. But yeah, it's that thing of Wuti. And I think that was one of the reasons why I also was like shying away from the industry with the background that I have. It's like, how does someone who has a church upbringing in a very conservative space be told you need to go into media? Because what I've heard is that in order for me to get roles, I need to know somebody, and for somebody needs to have little shady things that we do in order for me to bag that, you know. But thankfully that has not been my story. But I'm just fighting the seeking to network so much that you network in spaces that you should not be exposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm all for putting your stuff out there. PR, great. It's something that I personally need to work on. But don't overdo it that you find yourself in a situation with the only way for you to actually get out is for you to compromise.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a great message. So I want to know, especially because now you've reached a certain level of fame.
So you say.
I want to, usually what I've seen with a lot of people who've reached the point that you currently, your journey specifically, there's family members that come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wanting to be a part of who you are now when they weren't a part of who you were then before getting to where you are now. So how have you managed to deal with abantu who were not really there for you, now wanting to reap, so to call, the benefits of your hard work?
I've had interesting experiences. There's some family members who are just like, had you stayed in the bank, you'd still be a bank manager. Still does not regard what I do as a job. And then there's another one who saw me on Durban Jen as a doctor. It's like, oh, yes, that's the So that was the first interaction I had with them after they had seen me on TV.
Yeah.
Not, oh, congratulations, you finally. It was like, once again, disregarding what I'm doing is a job. And then there's another spectrum where the person who probably used to change my diapers is like, hey, it's a selfie. I'm just like, auntie, but it's how? So it's, I don't think it's something you get used to, because you're sitting there like, what do you mean? It's, you know, like what is going on with that?
Yeah.
You know? And then there's actually a half sibling of mine who I've never met, who reached out to me on Instagram and said, oh, could we please start bonding and whatnot? I'm like, I'm very comfortable with where things are. So we shouldn't have a connection. I'm like, right. Because also I don't want to say that was her agenda, but also I don't have the energy to start dissecting that. What's intention? Yeah. I'm Zondo, I'm Nomaswazi, in between action and cards. Outside of that, Fanele.
Yes.
I never thought it would actually be uncomfortable to be kwakoko, but sometimes there are people that come wakoko emakhaya for a photo, and I'm just like, it's my personal space. You know? Yeah. So.
No, that's true. Yeah. Have you not been asked to MC? I've
been asked to MC a wedding.
Yes.
And I can't sing, and I know MCs are supposed to sing, so that was my biggest stress.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh. So I emceed a wedding last year, and I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. Not doing that again. Close, yeah, I could say it's not done.
Yes.
Nah, it's okay.
Sonto.
It came as I own. Yeah, it came as I own. So yeah. Like I said, yes, it wasn't easy yes because it's family.
Mm-hmm.
I regard that lady as family. But I said like the admin of it. Yeah. And I'm very punctual. There's a lot of things that are not on my hand. Yeah. So now already I'm triggered. Like, I think it's African time. I'm just like, sorry, what?
That's true.
Yeah. I think I can do corporate. I can do very structured. No, don't put me in a wedding. It's okay.
So your brother asked me to ask you a question. Quite an interesting one because the question that he asked me to ask you.
Yeah.
He asked me ukuthi yaphelela indaba yakho nokushayela nokuthi ngeke nje uzoshayela.
Oh yeah, no. They forced me to get my license, emakhaya. In my head, I was gonna have a driver.
Okay. Why was that the case?
Princess treatment or nothing else. I was just like, yeah, I literally grew up that way. Yeah, in my head, I thought it's not even like it's still back there with no, I need to work to a point where I have a driver. Yeah. I felt like driving a manual is hard labor. Well, I have no time to be stressing with Healy. I was like inconvenience. It's not giving the right aesthetics, you know. So Corolla, Uma, it's how I can take it to work. It's either a request, I'm like because I was just like, no ways.
So it wasn't like a fear-based.
It was also fear, I think, because there was a point where I had to intentionally be like, nah, fear is like ruling you. Yeah. And as part of my affirmations, I had to be like, I'm a solid, confident driver. Okay. And then intentionally then mom brought in automatic. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I mean,
I
could do this. And also it comes with a lot of convenience. Yeah. But also where I desire to go in life and the things that I still want to do, I definitely see myself having a driver.
That's good.
That I have to wake up. I will wake up in time, you know, but I don't think I have to be the one driving myself. That sometimes you finish sets like 12 hours later and you're like, I have to still drive myself home. No, so I'm in 7.
Yeah, so you just mentioned Uguti, in the future you see yourself living a life where that will eventually be the case. So where do you see yourself in like 2-3 years time?
2-3 years time, I don't know. I'll still be in South Africa. Okay. One person that has made me very like, what is South Africa? I draw inspiration from Tuso. I draw inspiration from Unomzamo. I think I would love to fly out for 6 months for a project and come back. Ideally, I'd like a flexible life where I can do 2 projects and then I'm traveling or working on NGO projects for the rest of the year. That's ideally what I would like to look at, because I'd like to package Journey to Self into like weekend boot camps. Yeah, that's ideally. So my thing is like I have this influence that's building up, and I want it to be of impact. Because I've seen people, there's a lot of people who miss out on their dreams because they missed out on opportunity to find out who they truly are and silence certain voices that speak against what God has called them to be. So I think I struggle with regarding myself as famous, as a celebrity. The responsibility of influence is a tough one, and also trying not to live a hypocritical life. I'd always be like, my agent would be like, post more, and I'm like, if it's not natural, I cannot maintain it, you know. So ideally, I would definitely want to package Journey to Self going forward, do 1 or 2 projects, and then
So what is the first thing that comes to mind, or word that comes to mind when you hear Izo?
I was banned from watching it. I was banned. I heard it's coming to Netflix, so that's great. Netflix or Showmax, one of the two. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to watch it. I know the names. I can't really tell you the storyline.
So even now you haven't watched it?
Nah.
There's no interest in watching it?
Not that there's no interest. It's just like, yeah. So, bruv, zoned it out. Young Luli face. But
that was a whole culture shock.
For sure. And I worked with Mavu, so,
yeah.
you know, guys, look.
So, City?
Educational. I know about TB, I know about HIV, I know about Uteliji Kemanzini because of. And ideally, that is what I wanted the DG to be as well.
Yes.
I think the concept of DG started off that way, and then the dynamics of writing came into play. But So City, you takeaways were always there, and practical ones.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Backstage?
I wish I could dance. That's what backstage made me. But hey, now we're going to do my baby, this baby daddy, so. Amen.
Generations?
I've always wanted to be Ukarab, and I studied BCom accounting, thinking is in communications, but it was actually no, you just need to do what she's doing. So yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I genuinely thought, I was like, I'm like getting marketing, because then God was like, no, you're an actor. It clicked later.
Do you think before we wrap up, do you think that Amasho Amanj have the exact same impact on culture as the Amasho in the early 2000s? I mean, look at how your face lights up when you hear of your backstage generations. What? Kuna Manizo, Kono Kazlami, Home Affairs, all those absolutely amazing TV shows that influenced so much in the way that a lot of kids behaved at schools, like Hizo, so on and so forth.
I would have to say I don't think so, unfortunately. And I think that's what I like. One of my core thought process all the time, like, I just really want to have intentional roles that are impactful and whatever. That's true. I don't know if it's also the lack of writers, or our writers are spent because they're writing multiple shows. Every show eventually gravitates to the same storylines and same problems and so on and so forth, that it becomes redundant. And also, I have no issues with relationships. Relationships are human nature. It's what's going to happen. But I don't think there are stories that are doing justice in teaching, maybe, let's say, for a GBV case, like getting to the root of why a person ends up being someone who hits, and why a female ends up being someone who stays. Like the root, what's your self-esteem? What was your background at home? Where it's educational, and we see that it's relationship, but like even people that are anxious people in relationships, where does that stem from? Like, I really feel like and it's more so that we can trend than it is about, how can we follow these 4 characters and each have their own different course, but we can all come back to a consensus of how do we make a better society. Because now it's always like broken family. Okay, we can have a broken family, but then how do I then choose the right partner to eventually get co-parenting right? You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of missing links. There's a lot of missing links that could really add to society. TV is influential. TV is super influential, and I think maybe one day I'd also like to write content where I can really influence how character development happens. Because sometimes characters are decided by Twitter, what the navigating of that storyline should go, Because now we seek to trend, it compromises the quality.
And it does.
Yeah.
It does. I think the quality has been compromised.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because, well, you just mentioned one. It's because of maybe wanting to trend, but is it also not because of like the high demand? Right.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's also that thing of with there are more influencers getting jobs instead of this is a performer, because at the end of the day, characters are created. You can't tell me I casted someone or wrong. You know, like if they're delivering on the performance and so on and so forth. It's not necessarily about looks. Like we lose the message seeking the most popular faces on the telenovela. No, but this one is gonna bring this traction.
That's true. Now they just want eyes. They don't necessarily want to teach you something. They just want eyes.
It makes me fear for the next generation. It makes me fear for the next generation. So we see what will they have to look back on.
Exactly.
When you look at you can see pure talent, but also the writing left so many nuggets for you to carry to day-to-day life. Now it's just Uzalo, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like feeling like, oh my goodness, the story that I'm telling is going to change lives, because it has to start with changing me and journeying with the character, and then I introduce it to the audience, and then they're like, oh my gosh. Now, how is everybody related to the same characters? Because we have the same characters now.
That's true. That's true. So before we wrap up, I need to ask this question.
Sure.
All right. So I wanted to know, Ubuti, if now I gave you the opportunity to create your own show, what would be your first story that you would want to tell?
For me, it would. I don't really know. I can just summarize the overall umbrella of it, but it would just be a human journey of honesty, like how you journey through the no's, how you journey through the yeses, how you journey through trusting the timing and season of your life. You know, how you navigate family structures, how you heal family, how do you navigate church and how church can look like for you. I need true human stories. That's what I would focus on.
Yeah.
You know, and trusting your individual journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like.
And talking about trusting your individual journey.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for? When?
That I was present. That's what I want to be remembered for. That I was present. Like if you experienced me, you experienced the whole of me. Like you didn't feel like I was distracted and chasing next as I'm in your company. So I'm present. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful. That's very different.
I am very different.
With our conversation, it's very Fanele. That's a very Fanele response. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for sharing. I think some of the most important parts of your life. I think people that are going to be following your journey through our conversation will receive you in a very different way than they did with your various characters that you play.
Yeah,
so you're more than your characters.
I'm not even my characters, I'm not even that.
Yeah.
I do justice to what the writers do. That's what I do. I do my job very well. But allow me to just be open to experiencing me as a human.
Yes.
If you're always like me, Zondo, I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'm more than that. I'm not my job.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's just an extension of one of the gifts I have.
And it definitely is. And it's definitely a gift. It's definitely a gift. So I can't wait to see you on more platforms besides television. I think we deserve to see you on other platforms outside of that. You know, just explore that part of you. Maybe radio, maybe.
Funny enough, there's a radio thingy that I might partake in.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just a bit uncomfortable, but I like discomfort, so
Yes, yes,
I'll
yes.
probably engage in that.
No, I definitely will enjoy, because I mean that's where you get to be more of who you were or
True,
are
true.
on this
It's
couch.
not that scripted.
Then it's so. Thank you so much for that. So to all the watchers, do we have a name for the audience says?
Maybe they can choose.
What do you think we should call our audience? Our watchers, the Catchupians.
No. Let them choose. They usually know already.
So maybe you guys could possibly choose a name for yourselves. Why you?
Catch up here on Zoom.
You see the mouthful already.
I guess, but thank you so much for joining us. Same time, same place, and we'll definitely have more conversations like this. Fanele, where can we find you?
Instagram, Fanele_N and Fanele Ntuli on Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I'm not mentally strong for that, please.
I heard you mention TikTok.
Oh, I forget. Yes, no, I literally just post and forget. Journey. I think it's Journey to Self.
Yes.
But I think if you search for Fanele Ntuli, you'll find it.
Yes, and also on YouTube. You can't forget your
snap.
YouTube.
Journey to Self on you. Jeez, you seem to know me. Yes, Journey to Self. Yes, and then my brother's gonna come and comment. Yeah, you should post more. So,
Yes, so you should post more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just wrap this up now.